Hey, what up, everybody? Today we will learn the pronouns. So, guys, it is the second video of Learn Punjabi from Nothing to Fluent series. So, I divided it in three parts, and it's the first part of pronouns. So, I'll explain how we use pronouns in conversation because when we see pronouns in books, they are little formal and there are also some informal pronouns, and we use according to the situation. So you can see the pronouns on the screen. All these pronouns we are gonna discuss in this video. So let's get started. So first pronoun or first word is मैं. मैं means I. So it's pretty simple and nothing to doubt about it. So next words are ਅਸੀਂ and appan. Both word meaning is we, right? So but it looks like a little bit like a confusion here, like what word to use and what not to use, and what is the difference between ਅਸੀਂ and appan. That's what I'm gonna explain it. So basically, you use or we use ਅਸੀਂ when you are talking to somebody and or you are telling a story to that person. Maybe you did something or you did an activity with somebody, but that person you are talking to, that person wasn't involved in that activity, so you would use ਅਸੀਂ. But if you're talking to the same person you did the activity, then you would use appan. So if you want to know about what is the difference between ਅਸੀਂ and appan in detail with the examples, you can check out my another video was me named ਅਸੀਂ versus appan. So link is in the description, or you can find this video on the top right corner. So let's move to another words or another pronoun, tu and tusi. So what is the difference between tu and tusi? Tu is informal way of saying to somebody. So tu and tusi mean you, right? But we use tu with like a friends, and tusi to somebody we don't know or who is a respectful person. And tusi is also a plural of tum. So even I'm talking with my friends, right? I use tum with my friend. If there's a one friend, I would use tum. But if there are two friends, I would use tusi. And here it didn't mean I'm like putting so much respect on them. I'm just using because they were plural, right? They were two people. For example, if I have to ask my friends like, where did you go yesterday? I would say, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੱਲ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਗਏ ਸੀ, right? So because they were two friends, that's why I'm using ਤੁਸੀਂ. But if there's only one friend, right, then I would say ਤੂੰ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ. It means like where did you go yesterday, right? ਤੂੰ ਕੱਲ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ. So for singular I am using ਤੂੰ. For like two people I am using ਤੁਸੀਂ. And in another case, if I'm talking to a respectful person, like maybe it's my teacher, right? If I have to ask him, I would use ਤੁਸੀਂ, like ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਗਏ ਸੀ. So in this case, I'm not using it for a plural. I'm using it for that person because he is respectful. All right. So next words are o, a, and a, right? So now it's going to be a little bit interesting and a little bit complicated. So first we take o. What is the meaning of o? Basically, if you see in the books, maybe if you're learning somebody who's a traditional teacher, basically they teach you a formal Punjabi, he will say o means he, she, they, and he will give you some examples so you can find the difference between like o is used for he or she or they. So according to the sentence, yeah, definitely that's how you can do it. But he's not gonna tell you like it means o could be like a meaning all, he, she, it, they, that, those, this, it's stuff like that. You name it. Everything can be o, everything can be a, everything can be a, right? So how would you find it? That's what we're gonna talk about in this lesson. So let's take first o word. So now we're gonna see when it's used for a he or she or they. All right. So if we take examples like he played a football yesterday, she played a football yesterday. They played a football yesterday. So here we are seeing the pronoun is changing. He for a man, she for a female, and they for a plural, right? And that's how we know. But in Punjabi, we know from the verb like ਉਹ ਕੱਲ ਫੁੱਟਬਾਲ ਖੇਡਿਆ. Is mean he. ਉਹ ਕੱਲ ਫੁੱਟਬਾਲ ਖੇਡੀ. It means she did that, right? She played the football. ਉਹ ਕੱਲ ਫੁੱਟਬਾਲ ਖੇਡੇ. Are you noticing at the end verb is changing? In first for he, ਉਹ ਕੱਲ ਫੁੱਟਬਾਲ ਖੇਡਿਆ. The verb is ਖੇਡਿਆ. For a female, ਉਹ ਕੱਲ ਫੁੱਟਬਾਲ ਖੇਡੀ. Now verb is khedi. For male it was khedya. Khedya and khedi. That's the difference. When it's plural, oh kal football khede. So when I see the sentence, I would know who that person talking about. Like if it's khedya, so that means oh means is he. If it's khedi, then oh means is she. If it's khede, then oh means are they. So now let's take what the difference between A and A. Actually, they are not much difference. They are very similar. So the word A you won't see in the books much, and A is a little formal. But when we speak, we use both equally. There's very slightly difference when it comes to the specific situation, which I'll describe a little bit later in the video. Our question is how we use A for like this, that, he, she, stuff like that. How would we use it, right? So because recently I told you like O means he, she, it. How can A means we, he, she, they, stuff like that? Well, in books you don't see that. In books they don't tell. Books only tell like a he, she, and they means O depends on verb, right? But he, she, it could be like a or a. So I'm gonna tell you how is that. So let's say there's a friend and you wanna tell me like this is your friend, right? So it depends. If he is far from us and you're talking to me, you wanna tell me like that's your friend, then you would tell like oh mera friend hai, right? Oh mera dost hai. That time you would use oh because he is far from you. But if he is near to us, then you can use a mera dosta or a mera frienda, or you can use a mera frienda, all right? A mera frienda, a mera dosta. So a and a, there's no difference. You can use whatever you like. But when somebody is far, then we use o. When somebody is near, then we use a or a, all right? So it's the same for things like car, chair, whatever, right? So for example, if you wanna tell me that is your car, if it's far you would say oh meri car. If it's near to us, close to us, like we are just standing in front of the car, then you can say a meri car, or you can say a meri car, all right? Like this is my car or that is my car. So it depends where that person or that thing is located. If it's close to us, then we would use a or a. If it's far, then we would use o, all right? So let's take another example. How would you use for like a bunch of people for a plural, right? Like these people. If you want to say these people are good, then you can say a lok change a. A lok change a. If they are close to you, then you can say a lok change a. If they are far from you, then you can say o lok change a. So there's only one difference I see between a and a. For example, a you would use only like if that thing you are mentioning is present in front of you. It's not present, you won't use a, then you would use a. If I give the example, like if I telling you the story about me and my friend David, ਮੈਂ ਤੇ ਡੇਵਿਡ ਕੱਲ ਚਾਹ ਪੀ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਤੂੰ ਚਾਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੀਣੀ. So basically I'm saying yesterday me and David was drinking tea and he told me not to drink tea, right? So that's what I said in Punjabi. So here David is not present, I'm talking to you, so that's why I use a, or I could use o, right? but here I can't use are because David is not present. If David was present in our conversation, then I can mention him are, right? So I hope you understand the whole thing. So another thing I want to ask you, what's your level in Punjabi? So I created a poll about it, so make sure you go on my community tab and give your vote. It would help me to understand you guys so I can make better lessons for you all. So at the end, if you're enjoying my video and you want to support me, then you can check out my Patreon and buy me coffee. Links are in the description. And if you have not subscribed my channel, then you can subscribe.